To many who felt the opposition PNM would not attract support for its march, this was the answer. Here at Abercrombie Street, around 1:30 in the sweltering heat, they sang lustily, "We shall throw them out," as they marched uptown. They had gathered at Woodford Square for 1 in the afternoon, dressed in red, armed with placards, ready to show their disapproval with the government over the early proclamation of Clause 34 that favoured party financiers, a decision many have deemed deliberate and calculated, and for which the government is yet to give a reason enough to appease those angered by it. A conversation between the police and political leader, Dr. Keith Rowley, and then they were off, stopping first at the Ministry of National Security, where their protest march took on a different twist. With drums, they marched uptown. At Dr. Rowley's side, THA Chief Secretary Orville London, and here to show their support, MSJ leader David Abdullah, Vincent Cabrera, and others. Religious support as well, as some conducted mini ceremonies on the way. As they moved uptown in their volumes, look at the crowd as they walked outside the Bishop Anstey High School, nearing the Savannah. Many having joined along the way. The distance was only swelling the numbers. This took them around the Savannah, where police were not leaving anything to chance as they neared the U.S. Embassy, given the threats that presently exist, but they moved past without a hitch.
It is very rare that the Queen's Park Savannah is shut down at this time of the day or ever. But this is a time when students are going home from school and a lot of people are affected. But the PNM believes that this march, the first march that has been held by the party in a very, very long time, is very, very important to getting their message about the democracy of the country.
A democracy, the PNM says, is under threat, but one they believe is being guarded by the raised voices of the people. But even if by then one had doubts, the sheer size of the crowd was staggering, as by the time the front had reached Queen's Royal College, the back had passed the embassy. As they neared President's house, the acting president, Timothy Hamel-Smith, arrived under tight security. Here, a heavy police presence as the crowd stood in the rain, chanting and singing. Party officials gathered petitions, 25,000 of them, but when Dr. Rowley and his team tried to enter President's house, it created a security nightmare for the police.
One line! Media, get behind the line, please!
The police would form a bubble around them, eventually allowing them free passage without the crowd. Dr. Rowley and his team would emerge about 45 minutes later, telling the audience that he had asked the president for some specific things.
I have asked the president to trace the document backwards to its origin, the document that asked him to sign the proclamation, and make sure that at every stage in the proceedings, right down to the drafting of the cabinet note, that the country's rules, regulations, and laws were followed. That he asked the Prime Minister to give him, in writing, an explanation as to why the cabinet did what the cabinet did on the 28th of August.
President of the Banking and General Workers Union, Vincent Cabrera, made his position clear.
When I got the invitation from Dr. Rowley, I pondered whether I should come here. And then I said, as I was marching today, I told Dr. Rowley, it's Kamala have me here. Because if they didn't do the nonsense they're doing, I would not have been here.
And so too MSJ leader David Abdullah.
That bad governance was an attack on our democracy. And what the people are demonstrating here today by your thousands is that people power can trump the power of those in office who are corrupt.
Dr. Rowley says he has asked the president to respond in a timely manner, vowing that this is not the end of the beginning, but the beginning of the end for the current regime.